Good morning. Welcome back to another pre-market report live stream. This is Franco and this is Trading Futures Live. All right, in this pre-market report, we do have a lot of news to get into. Let me see if I can. Okay, let's put the economic calendar right here. We did have a lot of bad news from Europe. Like, the only good news we had is GDP on Great Britain, but this is all news, guys. So this is not what is coming. Okay, this is last quarter. We did have some inflation numbers out of Europe. CPI, Italian CPI 9%, core CPI, and CPI year over year in the Eurozone is 10%. That's crazy. Oh my God, double digits. And core is 4.8, so it's very ingrained. Then we had personal consumption expenditures here. PCE, it came greater than expected, just 0.1% above. And the core PCE came also above the expectations. Now we do have the dollar dropping a little bit. Well, the market, the dollar is going up, but I think it's dropping. We're gonna review it right now. And then personal spending came back up, so just no hesitation from people. People still spending, so we might have more inflation ahead. Then we have a couple of Fed members speaking in a few minutes. And then we do have Chicago PMI at 945 and 5-year inflation expectations. This is a thing that, even though it's just 1 star, I think it will impact on the market because the Fed is monitoring this at all times. So let me set the alerts. I'm gonna set the alerts for the 945 and the for the Chicago PMI and for the consumer the inflation expectations. All right. Okay, so let's go review the dollar. Okay. And the dollar, even though is going up today, yesterday, let's review the lower time frame because we had a demand right here from yesterday. It just it closed here yesterday and is bouncing from there. Now, here's the thing with the dollar. This is the lower time frame, and this is the demand that we had yesterday. The dollar have these a few pivots right here during well, this is London Open. This is not something that we will ignore. So I will put a circle right here just to be aware of this. Okay, but I think the way it came up during late London session is too sharp. There's no like demands, high quality demands right here. So if we end up breaking to the downside from here, I do think at least to this point. So I'm gonna put a line right here, right? And then you have the double bottom here. I think if the dollar holds this level, we might have more upside. Now, look what is happening. This is the 5-minute, but let's go to the 30-minute. Okay, we came here, the demand, we tried to hold this demand. Ultimately, we failed, and now we're coming here. Okay, so we're coming here. If this demand now supply is strong enough, this thing is gonna keep dropping, right? But if we manage to go back up, I don't think there is much stop prices from getting to this area. Okay, so this is my scenario number one. Number two, if we break to the downside, it's gonna be hard for the dollar to hold because of this sharp move up. I don't see the dollar just turning around in the middle. It could happen, but that's not what I see here. So I might get something like this. Okay. I wouldn't mind if the market just stays sideways today. And it's very likely. Yesterday we had a very large move to the downside. Okay, so this is the scenario for the dollar. This is my two scenarios for the dollar. I think this is the most likely scenario if we happen to break to the upside right here. Okay, this. All right, and if it gets if it start breaking to the upside and the market haven't dropped, if they don't drop, then we'll have some upside. And the contrary is true. If we come here and the market hasn't go up, then we will have some more drops. Okay, more drop in the equity markets. Now the yields are dropping, so this is what it makes me a little bit mixed, because this is the daily on the yields. Look at the daily on the dollar. It's the opposite, right? So when they are not going in the same direction, the market does not respond straight to the context. Okay, so we are having a little bit of a mixed bag right here. So that's why I'm saying we might have a sideways day today. Okay, so the dollar is going up. Dollar's going up, yields are going down, right? Unless the dollar catch up and start falling from here, which is not unlikely, right? On the daily, it does look like it could continue to drop, right? I said I don't have a high quality demand. Like this is the demand that we had right here, okay? But I don't have a high quality demand. Like the high quality demand is down here, like around here. And that's a lot. That's like 5%, 4% drop. Okay. Now, if we happen to drop here and the markets do not go up, then we are in trouble because we will have more downside. Okay. I mean, long term, weeks ahead. All right. This is a chart that really impresses me. I get very impressed by this chart. Like yesterday, how much was the move on the NQ yesterday, or the ES? 2.8% to the downside, and here was 2%, right? Look at the VIX chart. It barely went up. Yes, we gapped up, but on the last hour trading or so, or the last 2 hours, the market recovered a little bit, and look how much this dropped. This dropped from 33.50 to 31.80. So I think the market is not like I've said it repeatedly. Either the market is gonna suffer because of this, investors are not prepared, or the market is not gonna continue its downside. Okay, but the dollar chart tells me the contrary. So the dollar chart tells me that we might have more upside right here. Okay. All right, so we did take a look at the VIX. I do have this supply nevertheless, 31.76 to 32.90. Let's go down to lower time frame. We gapped up. We're gapping up today, but we gapped up, but nothing major right here. All right, so now let's take a look at crude oil. Crude oil had this supply right here, the one that we had. We couldn't break yesterday. We couldn't break earlier today during London. So it's yet to see what is going to happen. The market opens in 5 minutes. But if we don't break this supply today, I think we might have some more downside. This pivot is holding right here. And this is important pivot. It was a market open right here. I'm gonna put a. All right, so this pivot is important. If we manage to break to the downside, then like I've said, 74 is not unlikely. Sorry about that though. All right, let's continue. Let's go check the commodities. If we go to the daily. It's not much. Everything is pretty much flat. Well, lumber has dropped 5%. That's quite a lot. That's yesterday. But the rest of them are pretty much flat. Yeah, the dollar is not moving. So one chart that we never check here, and it's not worthy of time every day. But here is a very interesting chart. This is the 10-2 because we have a little bit of time. This is the bond yields, right? Those who don't know what the bond yield curve is. So the government has few they have bonds of different maturities, right? From like weeks to up to the 30-year, right? So when the economy is in a period of sorry. Sorry about that. So I was saying that when the economy is in a period of uncertainty, investors tend to sell bonds on the low end of the curve, meaning weeks, a year, 2 year, 5 years, right? And they start buying bonds on the end, and on the end of the curve, right? Like 20, 30 years. Okay, so what caused that is that a bond of a 1 year maturity yields more than a bond of 10 years, right? So that's a clear sign of uncertainty and that the market is preparing for a very big event or more slower economy, okay? So this is a chart that I see every day myself, but there's nothing I do with this on my day trading. But this is very important chart because this thing has predicted every recession since the 70s. Okay, so here was the inflation. Here was the inflation crisis, or the oil crisis and inflation after that. Then here we had the dot-com bubble. Then here we had the financial crisis in 08. And then we're right here. Look at this. This is scary. So this is the pandemic. We barely inverted here, or I think we didn't, right? Or we touched the line. But look at where we are right now. It's pretty heavy. Okay. I think this chart touched last week all-time lows. Okay, since we have data. So here is a chart that can tell you what the big picture is looking like regarding the markets. Okay. All right. So let's continue, because I saw this chart right here. Okay. Let's continue here. So the ES. We did have this demand yesterday. I think we broke to the downside of the demand. just a little bit, around 2, but we did not break the pivot. All this was overnight, so I was not paying much attention to this demand. I don't use overnights. Okay, so I even though I do acknowledge that they can work, like this one worked, or is working so far. Okay, it's holding prices. I don't use it in my day trading. I just if I have the area, I will need some formations to be created during the trading session. Okay, so this demand is holding. I don't think it's going to work, especially if the dollar moved, right? The dollar is just sideways right there. Let's see what the dollar wants to do, right? So this is the dollar. It has been sideways since 6:30, 2.5 hours. So we need some sort of break on the dollar, okay? And we will be watching it at all times today. So what this chart tells me, I have demand down below. I have some supply up here. So we might have some sideways day today. Okay, so I'm not expecting a type of breakout day today. Okay, pretty choppy so far, right? And we are in a narrow range, so we were 30. The overnight is 3640, 3690. Well, it's not a small range for the ES, but for the latest days it is. Okay. Same picture from the NQ, but the caveat here is that we haven't broken the low for the year, like based on this chart, right? If I see the trade station, then yes, but this one hasn't. All right, let's go here to 30 minutes. Still in the demand, right? Still in the same demand, and we didn't break the this one broke the previous day's low. Yes, yeah, we did, and then we bounced back up immediately. Okay, but still we are in a very narrow range for the overnight. Actually, the overnight was broken right here with the PCE news. So I do think the PCE is a terrible news, but the market hasn't reacted off of it. So I don't know if we need to wait for the market to open to see if we have some follow through. But based on the report that came out, I think it's a terrible news. Okay. All right. So I don't trade the news. I mean, whatever happened in the news does not dictate whatever my direction is going to be for my day. It's more like the dollar in correlations with other assets. But this one came to supply. This is 9:30, right? So this is the candle from the open. And it's a pretty nice supply right here, right? So we just tapped it and we are retracing from there. That was during London, so it's good. So if the dollar comes back down, right? If the dollar comes back down to the London open, and this thing is way below, we will have a lot more downside. Okay, it's yet to see. So for now, I'm neutral bearish, but I'm expecting a sideways day. All right, exactly the same picture for the RTY. Now the RTY is pretty interesting chart because if you go to the weekly, right? And I was watching this. If you go to the weekly, we did have this. Okay. This is different in the other markets. This level in the other markets is way below. Okay. So, but we came here. We did have this double top, the pandemic, and then we broke out. Right. We broke to the upside. We came here. We tested. We tried to go to the upside, and then here again we can retest this low. We tried to go through the upside and we failed, right? And we are following a sort of like a downtrend right here, right? So if you go, if one of the law of the market that I use every day is that the market by definition are fractal, right? Whatever patterns that you find in the daily is the same pattern that you can use in the 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minutes, 4 hours. You will find the same patterns, okay? So this is a classic double top, right? And breakout. So we came here, we tested, we tried to go to the upside. And then we're back to this picture, right? To this level, sorry. So every time this happens, for me, I wouldn't go long here. Why? Because all the orders are already used up. So I don't see this level as a very strong level. Now anything can happen, right? But I think ultimately that this level will fail. And the sad part is that I don't have much, like up until here, probably some resistance 1488, but the level that I would watch for is going to be 1370. That's a lot. Okay, that's probably 20% below. So that's the RTY. The other markets have a different picture. If you see this on the, let's go to the weekly on the Nasdaq. Look where this is at. It's way lower, right? 9,700. Okay, so it's not the same picture. But the RTY has a pretty ugly picture right here, guys. Okay. Apple. Let's go real quick over Apple. It hasn't is having a pretty bad week, Apple. Okay. We came to the demand, right? The demand that I have. We didn't broke to the downside, and we are just gapping up. It's yet to see if this thing is gonna cause some sort of tradable reaction to the upside. But overall, I think Apple has a lot of headwinds right now. It's been downgraded by few banks, Bank of America, whatever. So I do think Apple might have some more downside. And my next level is 137 right here. All right. And Apple needs to catch up. Like Apple hasn't dropped. This is mid-June. Okay, the markets are already in this level. Right? Apple is still way above. So I wouldn't touch this thing for now. I want to see what is going on right here, okay? All right, guys. So that's all for today's pre-market. And I will see you guys in 15 minutes for the market open, okay? Thank you.